How's everybody today? Is practice closed today? Was practice closed today? You sure? It was open. You guys didn't know? I'm serious. I mean, I read about it every day in every article, right? The practice was closed today for 2 individual periods. I mean, I don't know why we have to keep announcing that. That's just the policy around here. That's what it is. It is what it is, and it's not going to change. And the more you put it in there, the longer it's going to stay that way. You know, we had some very, very positive things in the scrimmage. I thought we made a tremendous amount of improvement after watching the film. You know, we made some big plays offensively. We moved the ball. When we weren't efficient in what we were doing, it was certainly because of some mental error or missed technique or missed assignment. Defensively, I thought we played pretty well. When we gave up plays, it was the same thing. You know, we made a mental error, had a missed assignment. Those things can be corrected. And for these 2 days, that's really what the emphasis is all about. The emphasis for today and tomorrow, practice is a lot on fundamentals, a lot on trying to do the things from a position standpoint that we feel like we need to do. It's to take some of the young players that we feel that we need to make improvements with and really work on the fundamentals and the basics with them so that we sort of get back and make sure they have the core of what we need to do. So, you know, I think it was really important to get 2 days rest. I think that, you know, what the players do every day sort of shows where they are in their maturity. The older, more experienced guys can come back today and not skip a beat, have the same focus when they go out there, the same intensity, the same sense of urgency to go execute and do things. Younger players, you know, sort of, you know, lose some of that and have to kind of play their way back into it. It's important that we get the rest, but I think it's important that we get back into it and we get everybody back into it and all the guys back into it. So I think that's important to us as well. So we don't really have anybody that didn't practice today. You know, Dre did some practicing. Trent did some practicing. He was in a black shirt, but he was able to take all his reps and do everything full speed. Just non-contact. Roy was out there in practice today and made it all the way through practice and did not have a problem. So, you know, we're going to work again tomorrow on the fundamental things and go to work on Thursday on Virginia Tech.
Yeah, Coach, kind of going back to what you already said, I've noticed some other teams I've covered, especially after a scrimmage this time of year, will have 8, 10, 12 guys who might be restricted from contact afterwards, and this is something I've noticed here in the last few years. What's the secret to keeping all these guys out on the field?
Well, I don't think it's any one particular thing. I think that probably experience of being in pro ball where you don't have the numbers that you have in college. You have to figure out a way to practice effectively and efficiently and fast and improve but not get players hurt, because you certainly can't afford to get them hurt. So I think we practice more in that style. We keep players off the ground as much as possible. We don't tackle in practice. We thud runners. I think the conditioning regiment, the strength and conditioning program in the off-season, the summer conditioning, the job Scott Cochran does, probably enhances that. We're much stronger now, which I think the number one thing in terms of strength and development and conditioning is probably ability to sustain and endure and eliminate the possibility of some injuries. I think you're always going to have some injuries. I don't think football is a dangerous game, and most of the time when we've gotten guys hurt in practice, it's been because we aren't sort of practicing by the rules that we've set forward. Although the 2 guys, one walk-on player got an ACL and Jeremy Griffin were both non-contact, change of direction, you know, sometimes that happens. So I think it's a combination of things. And it's really guys learning how to practice and staying up, and we practice good against good a lot, and I think that's actually enhances, you know, guys getting better, as well as eliminates guys getting injured.
And secondly, Coach, we haven't asked you about this, but it's out there now, so might as well. Are you planning and preparing right now as if Julio and Mark will be available for the first game?
I really can't comment on that. I think the institution has showed great integrity in the way they've handled this situation, and it's in someone else's hands until it gets decided. I have no comment.
Coach, at the beginning of camp, there was some talking here about Terrence wanting to get on the field for third downs, Terrence Cody. Has he done what he needs to do to work into that?
I told him if he weighed 348 pounds, we'd leave him on the field on third down. He hadn't got there yet. So, we call that team Rabbits. So to qualify to be a Rabbit, you got to get under 350. That's what I told him.
Coach, can you talk a little bit about the punting game and where you think you are on that, and specifically on punt protection? Whose responsibility is it to point who?
Well, I always say special teams is a staff responsibility thing. The way we do special teams, we have a special teams coach, but myself and 5 other coaches on the staff, other than the coordinators and the line coaches, all coach special teams, coach positions on special teams, in every special team. But we have a pretty good group of guys back on the punt protection team, and it's going to be important that we do a good job. I think we're improved from last year. I'm pleased with where we are. We're very aware that the team we're going to open with has been a team that likes to put pressure on specialists and have, had a history of being able to block punts, and it's going to be important that we do a great job in protection. And I think that comes down to, fundamentals, execution, footwork, good stance and start in what you're doing, and being disciplined in how to do it. But we have a pretty experienced group of guys and a punter that has made improvement each year. PJ has made improvement each year.
We've seen Michael Bowman's stats look good in these scrimmages. Has he been the same in practice as far as effectiveness?
Well, like all young guys, I think he's learning and growing, and when he knows what to do and he's playing fast, he's showing some ability to make plays, and we're very encouraged by that. But at the same time, consistency in performance, which starts with A, knowing what to do, B, knowing how to do it, C, if you can get to that, knowing why it's important to do it that way, is really good fundamental teaching, as well as a good way to feel comfortable and confident as a player when you get all those things. And I would say that we're certainly going to try to coach and develop him this year, and we're hopeful that he can contribute in some way to our team.
I wanted to ask about Marcel Darius and his progression really from last season up through camp and now.
Well, Marcel played well for us last year. He played a lot for us last year. He's a very good player. He's had a good camp. He's got good initial quickness. He's athletic. He runs a little better than maybe some of our other bigger guys, and he can finish on the quarterback. And we tried to use him last year, but again, with young players, they mentally have to be able to sustain their performance, not get frustrated when they don't do the right things, and also be able to execute because they feel comfortable and confident in what they're supposed to do. And he's made tremendous improvement in that, and I think it's enhanced his production. He's always been a real strong effort guy, and he's going to play a lot of football for us. We have more competition and more depth in the defensive line because of his development. Damian Square, Luther Davis, who played a lot, last year. Josh Chapman, who played a lot last year. Kerry Murphy has even shown some signs of doing some things since he's gotten in shape and lost some weight, and we got him more to where he's got some functional sustainability. He might be able to play for us. Centimore certainly has shown some ability as a freshman. We're going to develop him and decide later on whether we need to play him or not.